Okay.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, then I give you back the powers. Thanks. Okay. Okay, you are now the host. We are currently recording. Okay, so I think we already 12 minutes, so we should start. So I know everybody is getting me. Everybody's hearing me. I see a lot of familiar faces here from the WhatsApp group too. WhatsApp group that we've been having for almost a year now. Thanks for showing up. I see your dedication to continuously learn. So without wasting much time, generally we would have a presentation of about 30 minutes with the hope that you can have enough time, like 15 minutes. We don't want to take more than 1 hour of your time so that within like 15 minutes, you can be able to respond to your questions. So in between, you can always be leaving your comments at the comment section so that later at the end, with the coordination of Dr. Chu, we can also be able to answer those questions and then help each other learn from the issues each other are facing. So let's move on then, just straight up, and please leave your questions, comments, and if you have something, you can always raise your hand, and I know Dr. Chu would always see that and help us out. And also, I'll be going on with the presentation, and Dr. Chu, time to time, if he finds there's some complementary information that I'm missing, he would step in and add that. Okay, so let's move on then. So just go straight. So our agenda for today is we want to look at a bit of analytics today, how it looks like, and then try to see the current opportunities, the skills needed, and then how to prepare to win, because at most of the time, some of us here want to switch careers because maybe for one or two reasons, we find that maybe we are in a dead-end job or things like that. It happened to some people close to me that I know. The difference is that we have always been in the analytics field, as you would see, for more than 10 years now. So maybe I was lucky, but many people would want to switch from dead-end careers. So since it's a new field and it's really growing, so let's see how it goes as we are going down. So, and then at the end, questions and answers. Simple, right? Okay, let's move on then. So, your host, the two of us. I'll start with myself, and Dr. Chu will talk about himself. So, I've occupied roles like data analyst, data scientist, business analyst. So, plus when I look at the cumulative, it's more than 10 years experience in this field with these words, analyst, all these things, data mixed. And then I recently nominated AWS Machine Learning Hero, the first ever in Sub-Saharan Africa. The owner of the YouTube channel, Data Science with Cyril, where I share free videos on Excel, Power BI, SQL, Python, all that data science, just like the name the channel is. And then also I have over the years acquired skills in Excel, advanced Excel skills, using it for long, Visual Basics, Python, R, started with R before Python, and then SQL, Power BI, Tableau, SAS, all that, yeah. And I'm also the founder of the Analytics CFD, which is in partnership with Dr. Chu Consultancy, represented by Dr. Chu himself. So I'll just hand over Dr. Chu. Can you briefly explain who you are? I see you have lots of things there. So heavy.
Oh yes, thank you very much for the privilege to share what I do. So my name is Dr. Chu. I just share a few things about myself according to the bullet here. I have a PhD in electrical engineering with a specialty in signal processing and machine learning. And I also have worked in companies like Ford, Perceptics. I work for the Air Force Research Lab. I work for NASA. I'm wearing a NASA shirt. You can probably see that.
I need one. I need one, Dr. Chu.
Yes. So I have vast teaching experience as well. I've taught in many universities here, so ranging from Georgia State University to Georgia Tech, like as a TA. I now teaching in school here in New Jersey called Burlington County Institute of Technology. I really consider I'm very passionate about this, and I can share whole lot about myself, but that's what I would like to share so far. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mr. Yan. Of course, he's the founder of the consultancy, Dr. Chu. Thanks so much, and let's move on. So we'll just go straight to analytics now, and please leave your questions. The comments will come to that at the end. So the key thing we've noticed, unless you're coming from Mars, you're not in this planet, everybody should have noticed that data has been exploding all these years. And with consequence, yes, there was a slowdown. Let me just put my painter here, Control P. So there was a slowdown here. Yes, it's true. Around the period we had the pandemic, that was observed by most professions. After that, you see what happened. So all of a sudden, we have this trend going back up, and you see a great boom right from February 2021, and it keeps going on and on. So the source is the analytics magazine from India, because India has the highest number of analytics professionals in the world. So it's really a good reference, which reflects how the field is evolving. So which means that you would probably want to be on this trend, because it's a trend that is very strong and it keeps moving on. And I think that maybe that's why you're here, to get more information on why, and to see how you could understand what value you'll be bringing if you get into this field fully. So here are some of the things you'll be bringing if you get into this field fully. You would have, for example, the fact that telecom companies can't wait to have you to come with things like bringing in customer segmentation and profiling skills. You're able to segment who are the high value customers, the low value. I mean, all marketing directors, their major and best friend is segmentation, if you've been in the marketing field. So this will really help them, because they will be able to better segment their market and customers. Most of you have telephones, and you receive your offers that you see on your telephone is not the same offers that I have on mine, or your because you are in like company, they could have about 100 or something more segments. So we do it at the core. Data analysts are doing that. So churn control and reduction. Churn is people leaving the network. Telecom companies don't want people leaving abandoning the network to move to competitors. So they would like to know what could have been the cause of most people leaving. Maybe there was an offer, a product that they didn't like, or maybe they're calling customer service more than 3 times and they couldn't resolve their problem, so they had to leave. So you need to analyze all of that to help show them where they should focus to avoid this loss of customers, because it costs 5 times more to recruit a new customer than to maintain an old customer. So now you have the customer lifetime value management, which is all about being able to estimate, okay, we are about to invest this amount to get this customer. So he's going to stay with us maybe for the next 2 years, 3 years. We're going to get back that amount. So they'll do promotions, they'll do welcome packs, they'll do bundles, they'll put maybe this phone, Samsung Galaxy plus 1 year subscription, internet plus this, you pay monthly, for example, and then but they're sure that you're going to stay more than 2 years with them. So this is a whole lot. It's a whole big field here. There's a lot going on here, not only in telecom, but we're just bringing them out just for you to see. And then you have a banking, fraud detection, being able to, the problem of the bank is not only the money that was lost, but it's a reputation they lose when they realize that there is fraud going on in the bank. So you're having a key role here to preserve the image of the company, and also at the same time help reduce the losses. We are risk mitigation, like being able to predict who would default on a loan, or so based on maybe the person's past behavior, age, demographics, and all the other behavioral characteristics. So you also have product development and portfolio optimization. So again, you can see that you are able to build lots of things in the portfolio, and also develop new products. Like maybe you understand that most of the people are now using more ATMs in the banks, or they are or they would like to come to the banks, or they prefer maybe a deposit, or they prefer to do more savings accounts, stuff like that. You have a lot that you could contribute here. I'm just saying it's like analysts are almost everywhere. I'm just highlighting because we need to talk with examples. If not, I'll just say analytics is everywhere and it'll be done with this slide. But then I just want to point out to also help you be able to sell that to your companies easily. So you have e-commerce, all of us go online, we see offers and promotions every day, buy now or within 24 hours, this offer is not valuable anymore, things like that. And then you have effective supply chain management. You are able to manage your stock turnover, the stock days, how many days will this stock be over so that I would be out of stock so that I can be able to repurchase more or things like that. So it's there, but we need people to do that and reduce risk, just like with the banks. And then healthcare sector, you're able to monitor disease patterns and track disease outbreaks. We know there was a lot of data science that helped in fighting the current pandemic. We know that even when there was Ebola, they were using tweets from people to be able to identify the areas that they had to contain or quarantine based on tweets and identifying the positions. And then there's also the hospital readmission policy, where we want to make sure that somebody who has been out of hospital should not come back to the hospital bed within 6 months. So you need to analyze that and help see what are some reasons for people coming back and try to reduce that. And then also development of better vaccines. Like we said, there's really a lot I could go on. It could be a whole program on this. And
let me I just add a little bit to what you said. I mean, I just want to emphasize that these 4 domains are not like all inclusive, right? So there are a lot of applications. The word data analytics can be used. I for one, I would like to share one brief thing I did. I worked for NASA, and we had to like collect power data, and that data was used to predict when the solar panels of the space shuttles will kind of run out of power, so that we can replace them at an
before it
runs out, exactly. So that's a very nice application. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Chu. There's really a lot. I said we could hold a whole event, for this. Yeah, it's everywhere now. So we, following the analysis we've done with the, both consulting firms, we've done some analysis and we've seen some trends from Analytics CFD and Dr. Chu Consulting. We've seen some trends that we just want to share with you who are in this webinar. Most of the companies now, after the pandemic, they were like, maybe we were dreaming, so they want to closely monitor trends now. That's why you see things like Power BI, they are coming up very strongly because they are go quick to market to be able to get quickly your insights. And then they need expert skills in those fields. They don't want somebody like, they need people who are like alert, because what happened, the pandemic was like a surprise. We're more focused on internal data, but we didn't include maybe external data, health, all the legal. So now they want all hands on deck and want more agile solutions. That's also why you see the cloud is coming up very strongly. They want things that are more agile. The whole thing is about how can we be faster to insight, time to market. Let's get insights faster. And we also want to be more digital now, because that pandemic caused some people not be able to access their warehouses, not be able to access their stores. So that's why web development is going up, cloud is going up. All those things are going up because of the fact that we want to have at least one foot in the cloud and one foot on maybe traditional servers or where the warehouse, data warehouses. So those are some of the things we found out. And now you'll be asking yourself, okay, so why do I need to be a data analyst? So one of the things I believe here is that a data analyst is like on the route or is on the way to become a data scientist. So usually you might start like that, but then I know that as a scientist, it means you can play with the whole of this chain wherever you want to fit in. So there's this quote: nearly every product will either become smart, analytics driven, or obsolete. We've seen that with Kodak. We've seen that with so many examples. I don't even want to cite them. And so you have telecom, retail, e-commerce, healthcare are really consuming data heavily currently, but more are also copying from them, because what your competitors are doing and getting ahead of you, you must automatically do that or you lose market share. And there's talent shortage. For that, we know there's really a talent gap. Not many people, it's a new field. So you can take on roles like business analyst, operations analyst, BI analyst. That's why lots of this is coming from Power BI, new fields. And then you have a good work-life balance. Every project is different. You're like, okay, we need to analyze this now, the NASA thing now, the solar panel this now, Dr. Chu can testify. He's been on many projects and all of them are different. So you're part analyst and part artist. So it's interesting and you're finding unique solutions. And then also the salaries are usually slightly higher, yes, of course, based on the talent shortage and also based on the amount of skills that we'll see down here that need to be acquired. And then you become a key decision maker, providing decision to top management by advising them, okay, let's invest here, let's do this here, let's try to reduce the churn by doing this action, let's try to make sure we develop these new products. So you're really valuable. You feel that your ideas are taken into consideration. You have that satisfaction, that internal satisfaction of contributing. And then also it's easier to move to more strategic roles. Yeah, because you have the whole strategy, you understand everything as you see. One of the key skills is also the business understanding of a data analyst. So you understand how everything moves and you're always finding good patterns. So you have to move up. And then it's, for me, I know it's also on the way to become a full data scientist. When you can even want, you might move to data engineering roles, whatever, but then you once you're there, you're there. So what is really the analytics process, because when you understand it, you really understand that all these things fit together. If you've been in consulting before, project management, these things will just look similar to, I mean, they're familiar, but it's all about, first of all, the biggest work is framing the business problem. It sounds easy, yes, just like that, but framing this thing from experience is one of the most difficult parts of the job. Being able to clearly pinpoint what problem are we trying to solve, what objectives do we want to attain by when we solve this problem, and who are the stakeholders, what is the budget we have, what's the scope, just like project management, what's the cost, what is it going to cost us, what do we want to achieve, and what's the time we expect to do that. There's a lot going on here, guys, a lot. We can take a whole session for this. And then company politics, everything is here. Then now you have data collection tool, which you need now to collect the data based on what you've agreed here. And then you need to clean the data. The real world data is very dirty. So you need to clean the data and check if it's even in line with what you're looking for. And then you do your exploratory data analysis, which is like finding hidden patterns in data. I remember on LinkedIn, one of my favorite YouTubers posted that they were doing analysis of why some parks were doing well in the US, and they realized that it was linked to the size of the restroom. So the bigger the restroom, the more money you make. Nobody knew that. If everybody knew that, then the first thing we'll build in a park will be restroom. So somebody had to sit down and do this exploratory analysis to discover a hidden pattern. So it's never known, and this is one of the most powerful things you bring on the table. We have millions of data, petabytes of data. Data is doubling every 2 years. So we need to be able to sit down on a weekend, construct hypotheses, and then find out good patterns. So this is where we draw the line, usually for data analysts on this side. So now the data scientist usually comes here with more programming skills, which will sit down and start building machine learning models to take all this knowledge to make them automatic, like the fraud detection. We can't detect fraud maybe one day after. It has to be real time. So immediately we detect a kind of suspicious transaction, we pause the transaction immediately. So we now move it pass it over to machine learning, and then it becomes a whole system, which is MLOps, machine learning operations, where it's an end-to-end from the beginning, from testing, CI/CD, deployment, on continuous incremental learning. You're learning as the data is changing, because remember, there's this funny example. Before the pandemic, people were ordering suits, the complete up and the trousers, the top and the trousers. But during the pandemic, most of the Zoom calls or most of they were done with just the top, so no trousers. So most of the retail stores had this failure in their models, because they will be predicting, okay, we need maybe 10,000 complete suits, top and trousers. But now we don't need many trousers, because many people can be in this same webinar, but they are just putting on suits up, but they are not putting on the corresponding trousers down, as most of us were sitting before having meetings. So lots of things change when your model is online. So this is mostly for the data scientists, but this is where we usually draw the line. I have a lot of webinars I've done to do that distinction. I'll not go into that for matter of time, but stay connected. We'll be having more of these. So the fear is always, okay, AI is everywhere. AI has replaced the call center guys. It's now chatbots and things like that. Will AI replace us, data analysts or data scientists? The answer is a big no. There's no fear about that. It's usually a shift of jobs. Now, who will be training the AI? who will be making this AI understand or judge if the AI is giving the right answer or the wrong answer. So we just need, just like the story of jobs and forklifts and all the mechanization and industrialization, where the skills will shift from who are those now who can drive those cars, that maybe who are those who were maybe digging the farms or planting before. So it's about the shift, and the shift is more towards the data side and the whole data science thing, because what we expect is that you should be able to think of a problem which a machine can think. Your creativity cannot be matched. Okay, I think I need to solve this problem, just like a calculator. 4 plus 8, 14 million times 13,000 billion or whatever. Okay, it's difficult for me to do that, but I know what I want to multiply. Then I use the calculator to do that faster for me. So that's what AI will do, help you go fast, especially for routine jobs, but it can't replace creative jobs. We've spoken a lot of that on previous webinars. So now let's see now. So how do we what are the skills now that we need to do that switch for those who want to do the switch? This is a very funny diagram. Whenever I drop this, people's eyes go here, hot air. Yeah. Then you have interesting things like that, the hacker, the number cruncher, the nerd, the data nerd. But forget about this. Where we want to stay on is there's communication, there is statistics, there is programming, there is business. The analyst is usually here, and if you look closely, it is an intersection of understanding the business. That's why you move to strategic roles easily. And then also communication, you're able to clearly share your ideas. That's why your PowerPoint, Excel, what everybody else understands in the team. And then also statistics, being able to look at the chart and see, okay, I see that this one is the mean here or the mode here. Basic statistics, high school statistics is enough, not much. The more advanced one goes to the data scientists, calculus and all that, but then it's more of, okay, adding now programming, like being able to build those models and put them real time so they are working while maybe you're sleeping. But the data analyst will be like, okay, every month I have to send this report, I have to send this, I have to create this dashboard, and then I maintain the dashboard. So you can look at this diagram later, it's interesting. Now let's talk about the skills. So for the key skills, you see the first thing, if you notice here, we intentionally put these skills on the left. These are the soft skills. They are very powerful and needed for a data analytics person. But if it's for the data scientist person, we are more on the right kind of the technical and the programming, because we expect you to have a good domain knowledge of your field, your health field, your whatever field you are in. You need to understand the business. You need to be able to communicate to your stakeholders, your top management and all that, communicate even to the rest of your team, get information, solve problems. I'll give you some tips on getting some of these skills just down here, but then these are the skills: critical thinking. And then on this side now, we can't do that without Excel, we can't do that without SQL, because these are tools which help us to do the analysis faster, just like the calculator. You have less than 1 million row of data, fine, Excel will be good for you perfectly. As soon as you get above 1 million row of data, then you need something like SQL, which can take you even to billions of data. Fon, I see your hand is raised. So it seems as if you can't see the presentation. Is that who else can see the presentation? Are you guys having the same issue? Who else is having the same issue? Dr. Chu, can you see the presentation?
Yeah, I see it here very clearly. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Maybe Fon, try to restart your network. Or yeah, there must be something wrong with your, your network. I think so. Sorry. I know it's not easy. Okay. Mandela, thanks. Mandela says he can see. I think the problem is with phone. So let's move on then. And please keep your questions. The most beautiful thing about all of these is when I answer people's questions, because I've been working in this field for years, and Dr. Chu too. So we need to be able to clarify your doubts every time you have them. So here again, above your 1 million rows of data, you'll be thinking of SQL, and then you have modern tools like Power BI, which try to make life easier for you. If you ever use Power BI, the motto of Power BI is to be done in 5 minutes. If you do it more than 5 minutes, then Power BI has failed its objective. So it's supposed to make life really easy for you. Now we have math statistics for the data analyst, just high school maths, mean mode, median, standard deviation, things like that, central measures, dispersion, maybe positively skewed, negatively skewed, ANOVA, very basic things though. And then machine learning, yeah, the deep learning, that's when you need more statistics and more calculus because you want to build complicated models and stuff like that. Then we have the cloud. AWS, of course, is number one. I'm an AWS hero, so I always put AWS number one, but that's not the only reason. It's the highest market share. You can go check or go ask. My friend will say, go and ask. Go and ask. So, but then AWS is good. And then now you can also do some software or back-end development so that you can be able to build stuffs that, like the fraud detection thing, that run on their own without you intervening. So just for those who might be asking, I always used to get these questions: how do I acquire domain knowledge? How do I acquire critical thinking and things like that? Okay, Font says it's visible now. Thanks, that's great. So how do I acquire domain knowledge, critical thinking, problem solving? So here, for example, domain knowledge, just stay around the guy, behave like a customer, just go to that company or buy something from them. You know, the customer is always key. Try to understand the customer journey, know how the business model works, and then just try to speak their language. Like when I talked about churn, I could talk about gross ads, I could talk about different terms that are used in telecom, but in another company, they will talk about different terms there. So just try to go close, understand how the whole thing works, and again, behave like a customer, buy something from them, see how all the whole process is fulfilled. Then you want to know how to solve problems. You need to know that every project is different. So always come with, it's linked to creativity. Always come with a creative mind. Okay, this is what I have in front of me. Follow that process. What is the problem? Frame the problem. What are we trying to solve? What are the objectives? What are the resources we have? What is the time frame? Things like that. And then know that you're a part analyst and artist. And then critical thinking, always challenge your assumptions. Why? Root cause, ask 5 whys. Gain deep understanding of the underlying cause. And then also your creativity is you need it as an analyst, because you're there to solve problems, not to show off that you know Python or you know Excel or you know this. It's just that at the end of the day, you are either helping us improve revenue, reduce cost, or improve the time of some processes. That's at the bottom line. That's what you're there to do. So turn it how you want. That's the objective. Now you need to be able to communicate. Communication is very important, super important, because you spend most of your time sharing your ideas, selling your ideas, getting insight from others, and improving your hypothesis and your ideas. So interact with your colleagues a lot, move from department to department, talk with this guy, talk with that guy, and always propose solutions. So this is my philosophy. I believe in being a T-shaped learner, because there is this word, is there full stack data scientist? You might think of it like it means you master everything. Then nobody in his lifetime would ever do that. Nobody. But then the T-shaped learning is the concept of just have a cross-discipline competency. That means you know maybe a bit of Excel, a bit of SQL, a bit of Python, a bit of Power BI, maybe how to develop the app, so that you just know how everything fits in. And then you choose one field. I just chose one, for example, going deeper with Python and machine learning, deep learning, learning with MLOps, or going deeper with SQL, becoming an SQL developer, going deeper with Excel, being a VBA developer, or Power BI, becoming a Power BI developer, or app developer. So it's just about first getting just how everything fits, and then you go on one of them. But one point I would like to say is, if you are working as a freelancer, maybe on online platforms. I also talk about Upwork a lot. So some of you might be like, okay, now I'm confusing you guys. At times, what is needed with those sites, just specialization. You pick up one skill, I'm good in Python, and then I do just that. Because the guy coming online has maybe tried to find solutions through YouTube, through his cousin's YouTube, his cousin's skills of watching YouTube, through every network of his. Then he's coming to a specialist to do that online. But for normal jobs, you would always see a job saying a bit of Excel, a bit of Python, a bit of Power BI, and maybe SQL. But most of the time, they just assume you know SQL. SQL is a very basic language. So how do you make the switch? Now, most of you will be asking, okay, I am now maybe in marketing for some time, or in finance for some time, or I'm seeing myself in a dead-end job as an accountant. There's only one finance controller and controlling 100 accountants. There's no room for promotion for me. So this is the approach. The first thing to do is to learn the core technical skills, which is Excel, SQL, Power BI, and all that, what I've listed above. Because the best way to learn most of the practical skills or the communication skills is when someone experienced is teaching you these technical skills. Because when it teaches you, it says, produce this visual, maybe use this pie chart. This pie chart is only used to separate proportions of a whole. It's not used to communicate maybe over time what has changed. So when you're using this, make sure you're using it just to communicate over time and the proportion of a whole, or you better use the area chart if you want to communicate the proportion of a whole changing over time. So you would only be able to learn communication skills while you're learning the technical skills and the practical skills. Like, okay, practically, this is how you should present your dashboard, your in Excel or in Power BI. You should do it like this, do it like that, and it's better to choose these and then share it like this, for example. And then we also have, you need now to do some projects. We can keep learning. Some of us learn forever. You need to start doing something. Nobody is waiting for perfection before they start. That is the wrong approach. Start doing something, build something, and then now the easiest way is to apply the skills first at your work. You know, maybe you're in the finance department or so, you try to see how they could move you to the data analyst department in that same company, because it's more difficult to move to another industry in another company. That is two forces against you. But then in the same company, you could move to another kind of industry. I call it an industry or another skill set. So you are in the same company. The only thing is I've done some work with our data. I've presented some graphs and charts, and people say, no, you merit to be in that other department. This is the easiest way for you guys, especially if most of you are working. Try to start the data analyst in your current company. Okay, for those who don't have the opportunity for one or two reasons, you're going to also be able to use now your GitHub link, do projects. Hopefully you're using GitHub to share. You can use GitHub to share your SQL files, your Power BI files, your Excel files, your Python files. You can use GitHub to communicate. I received 2 CVs. One CV says, I know SQL. Another CV says, this is my link to GitHub and I'm using a select star from. I'll take the second guy, because many people now, there are so many certifications, LinkedIn Learning, there are so many things. So we want practical skills now. And of course, we want you to never stop learning, because this is like something that we have to keep improving. You're now here because data analytics is hot. In a few years' time, maybe you'll be analytics engineering, that will be hot. Filming up, a lot of things, but just keep moving with the trend, because you're at the end of the day supposed to use the most effective tool to advise management on what is best to do, no matter how you do it, twist it how you want, improve our revenue, reduce our cost, or improve our processes. So now I'll leave you with some free resources, and for Excel, I think maybe even we'll be sharing that. If somebody misses this, we'll share that. How do I get it to you? But then we'll come to that. So you can learn from Chandu. You can learn a lot of Excel and Power BI from this resource. I'll share that with you guys. Those who are interested, you can still get in touch with me later. And then you can learn some basic statistics, which would help you to set you for the field here from Khan Academy. And you have also this SQL resource. Khan Academy too is interactive, so it's going to give you some basic SQL. At least you'll be able to do joins. You'll not maybe advanced like subqueries, CTEs and all that, but then it's good. You'll be able to do what most analysts do. And then you have your this Udacity course from Python. I love it. I took it last year. It's very interesting. And then also here, the difference is that we are also offering like a boot camp, so a crash course where we take you with all the analytics process, go into more detail of how to frame the problem, just like we saw all those things, and the different type of analysis: descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, prescriptive, cognitive. All those things, you really get them here. And then you learn about Excel, how to use Excel to do your lots of formulae, do charts, do pivot tables, and also build interactive dashboards, and your SQL to be able to do all those things that we saw and more. And then Python, Python is very, very dynamic. Also Power BI for your visualizations, and there's project and GitHub, and also some advice on how to, so your GitHub is so that you can have projects, sample projects to put on GitHub. So we'll train you on Git and everything, and how to share your work so that you can put that in your CV, apply for online jobs, and also show you how to use Upwork to get some freelance job from your home using these skills. Since I'm also a freelancer on Upwork and I have experience getting clients, there's also for those for the data science course. This is, we expect that you know some of the some statistics already, and then you can get some introduction to data science, SQL for data science, Python basics, then some data wrangling, mostly with your pandas, NumPy, and then machine learning and all that. So we also have customized trainings for Excel only from zero to hero. You know nothing about Excel, right from, I mean, basic, just Excel is what you're working with. I remember I started my first analyst course, my first analyst job just with Excel. All these things were not there before, more than 10 years ago. Maybe they were, yeah, they were there somewhere there, but not really prominent. And then now Excel and Power BI for visualization. Yeah, we want to just go the Python route, go to advanced Python, talk about iterators, generators, things like that. You want to go deep, okay, just Python developer, web scraping. And then also here is what we can say, like take home, key points. Analytics jobs are increasing. Companies want faster time to market, and your digital channels are the priority right now. And then your creativity is, I mean, you need to really focus on your creativity. Cloud services is what we should focus on. And then also, we talk about for your data analysis, mostly your Excel, your visualization, SQL, while for the data scientists, you need machine learning, and then also your object-oriented programming would need to be better than that of a data analyst. And then you learn something like AWS. I always like AWS, and then maybe MLOps. So for me, that is a wrap for me. And I don't know if Dr. Chu has something to add, and then maybe we can go straight to the questions. So we have maybe 12 more minutes.
Thank you, Cyril. So I mean, he said everything that I could have said. I think I'll be better able to help with, maybe with questions. You know, if you have specific questions, I'm more into data science than in the data analytics. So Cyril will address the questions on data analytics. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
So you can, if somebody wants a question, you can raise your hand, you can talk, or you can
type it as well.
Type. Yeah, if you're depends on you. There's no pressure. Okay. And if there are no questions too, we could also let you go. But then we are available if you're interested to take on the crash program for the data analytics program. We'll be starting next month in 2 weeks. So we're taking a batch of not more than 10 people at a time. So make sure that there's a close follow-up of the person's daily. So you can get in touch and we follow up. But then if you want to go the free route, you're able to study on your own. You can motivate yourself, and you don't need mentorship or support. It's still fine. Just people work differently. Some go to college, some go to boot camps, and some do self-learning. Okay, so if there are any questions, or maybe another thing would be, what are some of the topics you guys would want? I think Dr. Chu, it would be a good idea to, from time to time, to be sharing.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe also, maybe some might discuss what are some topics you guys might want us to maybe organize webinars or focus on. Maybe that could also be to know what is interesting for you guys, or where you have one clarification. That could also be something which might be helpful for you.
Somebody asked here, that is Gawum. Welcome, Gawum. Appreciate Gawum. All right. So the question is, what is the cost and duration of the course?
Okay, Gao, it's a very nice question. So actually, we have a dynamic pricing, which really depends on which session and the time that you want to join. But for the duration, it's a 3 months duration. I don't know if I have the website open here, but it's a 3 months duration. So Excel, Power BI, SQL, and then Python and the Capstone project. Maybe I think if you're interested, just get in touch with each of us, one of us, so that we can try to see how we can structure that for you, and also your availability, because we say we want just a restricted number. for the follow-up, and also based on people's availability, we'll be setting up courses like setting up trainings like this to make sure that it's live, and because it's live and interactive. That's maybe one point I forgot to mention. It's live and interactive, so be online and you'll be working together and sharing your screen. Well, work with all so that everybody is able to pick up. That's why we don't want many. But then if you're really interested, you can get to with us and we see what slot is left. Okay, Kaum, is that okay?
Yeah, as he says, great. Yeah, okay.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, that's good. Any other question?
Somebody's asking, how do we get to you, please?
Okay. Yeah. So you can either get to. Let me just Dr. Chu. I'll just leave
Yes.
my number here,
Yeah,
and
leave
you
yours.
can
I'll
leave
leave mine
yours.
too. No
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you can get to me through this WhatsApp. This is my WhatsApp number. Maybe that might, yeah, the better, so that we can try to understand first of all what skills you have so far, and then what is needed to take you next, because we also don't want a class which is imbalanced. Some are low, some are up. Okay. So
Yeah. So
is there
one thing I wanted to add, or not really add, but emphasize is like Syria has been saying, the data analyst, like if you want to do data science, it's a great idea. If you think that your analytical skills, your programming skills, at least at a certain minimum, because I'm the one doing the data science course. But if you are like, trying to like build up like from like a more minimal background, then I think somebody just asked that right now. So that Bertrand Taim is asking, what's the difference between data science and data analysis?
did I take that?
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Yeah, because I've been asked this question like 100 times over the past years. So the major difference really comes here. The major difference comes here. Where is that our thing here?
The Venn
The major
diagram.
difference comes here. Yeah, that diagram here. So the key thing about this data analysis is that you need to understand more of the business. So imagine for example, a data analyst might use PowerPoint and do all his reporting on PowerPoint and Excel maybe. And let's say you're in a small company, you just use your Excel, you don't have too much data, that'll be fine. Okay, that's perfect. Now, the thing is, they don't need you to have too much programming skills, like being able to be so good in Python, understanding. You don't need intermediate Python in reality. You might just be contented with basic Python. You don't need to go deep because you're not really expected to do a lot of heavy programming. So I always advise, or I always think it is best to start as a data analyst, and then now before you move on to a data scientist, because the data analyst is more entry level. We need little from you. You're just, I say, with simple Excel, you can start working. With your Power BI analyst, you can work. I have people I've taken previous courses with, they are working currently with just Power BI. That's what they do every single day. That's an analyst. But then with a data scientist, you need to be thinking about how to build apps. You need to think about, you need to learn about machine learning. That's why you need to know what is bias, what is things like what is your machine learning models like XGBoost, random forest, decision trees, maybe. So you start trying to predict, and that's why we're saying there are different types of analysis. There is diagnostic. Why did this thing happen? It's mostly just something that you could ask questions and get. What actually happened is like, what is the average of all we've sold last week? Then what will happen in future? So that is more of where the data scientist comes in, trying to predict what will happen, what you're going to type next, what you're going to spell next, what you're going to say next, what you're going to do next. So that is the slight difference between the two. And Dr. Chu could elaborate more.
Yes, yes. Actually, I won't mind elaborating more on that. So, data analysis, like you said, basically you are you're looking at data from the more rudimentary level. Like you take the data, you clean it, and then you're working with the what you call input data. So because in data science, you have well, like the input data and output data. Let's say we're trying to predict um, the likelihood of what say fraud, for example. So fraud will be our output, right? And the other data may be like, okay, this is the phone number, this is the location that he's calling from, this is whatever input data you have. So now data science basically is trying to kind of create the relationship between that input data and the output data. And that output data is basically dependent on the problem formulation, right? Like say somebody asks about like, okay, what is like I said, in this case, our fraud detection, for example, that would be our output. It may be a binary output, like say, okay, we have either fraud or no fraud. So we're gonna have all that for all the different types of people in the system. So we can see with that, we need a lot more mathematics. We need a lot more programming because we are creating a mathematical model that correlates the data, what we call input data, and the input the output data. Also, or maybe I should say features, because all of them are all data, but the feature of what we're trying to predict becomes the output, and then what we're trying to use to predict the output is the input. I don't know if that kind of makes sense, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But is it better for you now, Bertrand? Is it a bit better? Okay.
Okay.
Bertrand,
Thank you.
Yeah, Bertrand says it. Okay, thanks. Okay. So is there any other questions? Okay, maybe or let me say feedback. Are there any feedback? Maybe do you have any feedback? Was there something you think you can apply from next week or next month? And at the end also, what do you want us to focus on subsequently? I think with that we just have maybe 1 minute or so, and we could call it a day.
Yeah, so for young says you guys need to do this more often. Great information.
Yeah, thanks. And do you have some topics you might want us to like focus on? Maybe, yeah, or maybe you don't even know.
So we have Wakoba TB says, thanks a lot. This meeting was really informative. Colina says, thanks for the infos.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay.
So like we said, so our information is there. I ideally want to start the program sometime in August. Ideally wanted to start like maybe next week, basically. But since we are, well, the numbers haven't cranked up yet, we might be starting maybe 2 weeks into August, maybe mid-August or so. But we'll be glad to see some of these faces, or if not all of them, if possible. And thank you guys for taking the time to listen to us.
Okay, fine then. Okay, fine.
So
okay,
we have
so,
Petan says it's in. That's good.
Okay, that's good. You can get to us. You have the contacts so that we can see how to work something out for you guys to share the knowledge, and we see how we can also follow the trend. I think it's a good field personally.
Okay.
And it has a bright future.
We have Chris.
Okay.
She says, "Thank you. I'm interested." So, okay. If there are no questions, I guess we can just we can call this a wrap and
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Thank you all. Thanks a million. And I think. Okay.
Yeah, somebody's asking for my email. 1 second. Let me give.
Yeah. Please drop your email. Drop your email. Okay. Did you get it? Did you get the email already?
Yeah, I just put it there. Hopefully everybody got it.
Okay. Yeah, the person got the email already. Okay, so guys, we can maybe spend the whole day here talking and sharing with you guys. We're really passionate guys. Data, the thing about the data field is it's really filled with lots of people who have a passion for data. And so we can stay here, but we have to go. You guys have things to do, and we also have maybe other things to do. So thanks a lot, and you can always reach out to us if you have ideas of and proposals of what you want to look at
Yeah.
next. And we can always, yeah.
Cyril, do you mind just putting your email too? Maybe somebody might need it. Maybe.
Okay, let me just put my email.
Yeah.
I'll just put my personal email, put the
Information.
company email. Anyway, I'll just put my personal email. You can reach out to me directly. There's no problem about that. Okay, so okay, I think that everything has a beginning and an end. Dr. Chu, for me, I think it's okay for me.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks everybody.
Okay. All right. I'm done here too. Thank you. Thanks everybody. I'll see you guys
Bye
later.
bye.